Hello, welcome to another video, and today I've got a short form review of my time playing Tiny Tina Wonderlands. First, thanks to Gearbox for, of course, giving me a review code so I can make this video and get an idea about the game, and how it works. So, jumping in, the story in the world, the story's actually pretty good. I definitely think it's better than Borderlands 3's story. I liked it a lot. The narration between some of the characters is really, really cool, and the world build is just absolutely fantastic. There's some really cool moments. It's like you can kind of see your end goal getting closer and closer, and the landscapes are effing beautiful in this game. Genuinely, really, really beautiful. Absolutely love them. So I think they did good there. In terms of the characters, I ended up liking Valentine and Fret, the two narration characters, a lot more than I thought I would, which is quite good because they're quite big roles. The Dragon Lord, the baddie. Cool villain, probably the best story arc of any villain they've done. In terms of actual likability of a villain, don't compare to Handsome Jack, you're always going to be disappointed. Jack's just too great. But the Dragon Lord is really, really cool. Prefer him to the twins, definitely, from Borderlands 3. So, made a good villain out with the Dragon Lord. Good character. Straight to gameplay. Gunplay is like Borderlands 3 gunplay, and this movement's the same. It's just more good stuff, really. That's always really, really good. In terms of screen pollution, as I know lots of people will be thinking about that, much, much better. Well, there are lots of fancy effects and like explosive spells and all that stuff. It's really easy to read what's going on screen. I've been playing 4-player endgame in like big endgame boss fights. And whilst there's lots of explosions and pools of elemental death and all this stuff going on, you can still tell what's going on. It's not as in your face as in Borderlands 3. They definitely made improvements there. Animations, I wanted to note this one. The character animations, like casting spells and stuff, from everything from the player, really, really good. The spell ones, like the subtle details to flicking Ghostblade around on Stabomancer, it's just really, really clean. But NPC animations, don't expect much. They're like... It's almost like they're figures on a tabletop. They just kind of look at you and talk. This game is quite a big game, and for development to probably start until, like, after DLC 4, animations on the NPCs was definitely one of the shorter points, so don't be expecting Horizon Forbidden West and... don't be expecting that level of animations from them. They're pretty static and even for Borderlands standards. And the HUD, the UI, I'm sorry, Gearbox, it's a bit of a disaster, really. Looks beautiful, absolutely looks amazing. The style on it is great, but in terms of using it, it's just endless clunk. I was playing it on a keyboard and mouse, and it is painfully obvious that it was purely designed for a controller, and it didn't port well. It's very clunky. Marking gear is sluggish. Scrolling through your backpack is slow. The map sensitivity and you gotta mouse over something, but then you can't click. You gotta press E and weaker point. Weaker point. Weapon balance, actually very good. There is a much smaller gap between legendaries and purples, and honestly, keep an eye out for purples. One of my favorite guns to use in the game is a purple SMG. One of my favorite spells, or several of my favorite spells in the game are purple spells. Quaking Thunder, Arc Torrent, Magic Barrage, they're all purples. I know that it's been much to you right now, but keep an eye out for them, they're pretty good. Yeah, they did a good job on making purple, like, legendaries are still legendary, they still have all the gimmicks and stuff, so don't worry about that. But purples aren't a complete waste of time. You get a lot of purples in the end game, you get seas of them, and you find yourself looking through those piles because there's good stuff in there. Character balance is a little bit on the shaky side, I think. A bit shakier than weapon balance. Clawbringer is 8%, by the way, and Spell Shot is terrifying. Beyond terrifying. Like, not okay terrifying. The other four seem alright, though. The Chaos Chamber, endgame, 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 endgame. Important note. I'm gonna make a statement here. Tiny Tina Wonderlands has got the best launch endgame out of any Borderlands game. This is utterly fantastic. The Chaos Chamber is brilliant. It's not without its flaws. Enemy density feels a bit weak at times. And the farming of... Not the farming of loot. It's not Chaos Chamber related. But the re-rolling of gear is awkwardly capped. It's very... You can brick your weapon and it's not nice. Definitely a bit of feedback there. It's not nice when you break your weapon and you need to go re-farm it because you run out of re-rolls. So, that is the end game, albeit not Chaos Chamber. The Chaos Chamber content itself is fantastic. I love the idea of the featured run. The curses... the curses are a little uninspired. They are Borderlands 3 Mayhem modifiers, and the way it works is you guarantee one curse at the start. You've got a choice of two, and you pick one, and then from there, it's all optional. So you are forced one cursed on you, which I kind of wish it just started with a choice. Hey, do you want a curse, do you want a gear piece, do you want crystals, or do you want a boon? But you're forced a curse on you. If they made that first curse optional, it'd be perfect. I don't mind the fact that it's Borderlands 3 Mayhem modifiers again, if they were fully optional, but you are guaranteed to have one. And many of them are insignificant, and you can ignore them, and many of them also help you. It's just that sometimes you get, like, the equivalence of boundary issues and pool party, and you just want to die. And the game will help you with that. So, yeah, that's just a bunch of short notes. Not without its rough edges. Sorting your bank is an absolute nightmare. Interacting with UI and your inventory in multiplayer is sluggish, but in terms of multiplayer, I've had more fun in this last week than I've had in multiplayer of a Borderlands game for a very, very long time. It could be because it's also new. Gameplay, the worlds, the exploration, all that really, really good stuff. A few notes. Dedicated drops in farming bosses is quite rough at first. You need to get the lucky dice. You need to get your loot luck up. And there are many bosses that just don't have drops and respawn. So that's a bit of a shame, especially since mini-bosses in this game, extra note there, they're really, really good. It's not just, hey, this is a badass skeleton, but slightly bigger. Many of the named mini-bosses are actually unique enemies that they've created with unique models and unique attacks in a unique arena. Like, they did a really, really good job on the mini-bosses in this game. So it's a big shame that a lot of them aren't relevant. Oh well. The content that is here, that does respawn though, is really, really good. And the Chaos Chamber is utterly fantastic. It's like, it's seamless. You go from room to room through a blue tunnel, no loading screen. You get 20 minutes of gameplay without loading screen. And that's just great. And then you can kind of target farm your loot at the end. You get a bunch of crystals, and then you just like feed them the if you want like the ×4 Dahlia SMG that I've been using, you can just feed the SMG bunny, and so you can kind of target farm loot in that kind of sense. So it's supposed to be around the Chaos Chamber. You're not supposed to really safe quit farm bosses. It's just that option is a bit weaker this time around. Doesn't bother me personally, but I know it might bother some people. So yeah, that's been a quick fire under 10-minute review. Look, yeah, under 10 minutes. So if you've got any questions, be sure to ask in the comments below. I try to include some things that you asked in the community post that I asked a few weeks ago. I tried to address some of those. If you've got any more that you want addressing, let me know in the comments. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Stay safe, stay awesome. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.